Ronda Rousey defeats Britt Baker to become the new AEW Women's Champion. WWE Women's Tag Champions splitting up? Never mind, they hug it out. And Natty did it, she inserted herself into the Mania match. Cora Jade goes full Home Alone trying to abduct Toxic Attraction. And the baddest woman on the planet, Ronda Rousey, is yet again destroyed by Charlotte Flair. Welcome everyone to Ring the Bell, this is DS and this is Women's Wrestling Weekly. Let's start with Raw. Alright, I just got back from Raw in Chicago and I actually got to go backstage for the first time and interview a couple of WWE superstars like Rhea Ripley, Austin Theory, and Street Profits for NBC Chicago. So that was really special today. But I'll cook up something with the Rhea interview for Ring the Bell too, obviously. For the first match, we saw Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler and Natalya. Before the match, we saw Zelina throw away Carmella's phone backstage, telling her to focus on their championship, and then the tag champions brawl backstage. By the way, I love Liv and Rhea together. Yes, they are a thrown together team, but their chemistry is undeniable. My friend Will actually was in the ringside and he accidentally dropped the phone on the floor, and this really cute moment happened between them. Also, I freaking love Natalya. I did "you guys" to her, and then she did it back to me. It was really cool. But in this match, we saw Liv Morgan going for the hot tag with Rhea Ripley, but Baszler pulls her off the apron, leaving Natalya to hit Liv with a discus lariat, and they finish Liv Morgan with a heart attack. Post-match, Zelina walks in to attack Rhea with her scepter, breaking it. Carmella then attacks Natty and Shayna from outside the ring, trying to one-up each other. And then they come into the ring, they do the stare down, until they eventually hug and make up. Yeah, I mean, the tag champions were built so weak over the weeks, so it's good to show that they are actually threat here. But given that Zelina and Carmella's dissension was really the only storyline going in this tag match in Mania, I'm kind of skeptical on what they're gonna do now that they used up their breakup and getting back together in one episode of Raw. So I'll just say, it was good.
Good? Not bad!
Next was Becky Lynch promo. So WWE previously announced that Bianca Belair suffered a fractured bone in her throat and she'll be out of action for a little bit. In this promo, Becky brought the chair she used to injure Bianca and sat on it for this promo. By the way, she had that Candice Michelle bodysuit looking clothes. Bam! But honestly, it looked freaking amazing on her, so I kind of lived for it. So in this promo, Becky said that she gave her soul up to become the Raw Women's Champion, and she said Bianca doesn't have what it takes to defeat her because Becky sold her soul out, but Bianca wouldn't. This was very Shakespearean type promo, like adding more gravity and depth to the feud. Not super clear how Bianca's going to come back to this "can you sell your soul to defeat me" promo, other than I guess I can be the very best EST by being my very self type of like very Disney babyface promo. I also am surprised that Bianca missed this Raw because we're so close to WrestleMania, so I'll be expecting them to bring something super explosive next week because it's a go-home Raw for Mania. But for now, this was an interesting, different flair, so I'll say I'm satisfied. Lastly, we saw Dana Brooke and Reggie team up to face Tamina and Akira Tozawa in a tornado tag match. This was obviously a comedy match and it was kind of cute actually. We start the match with a game of chicken, but Tozawa couldn't lift Tamina up, so instead he gets up on her shoulder and locks up with Dana until Tamina kicks Reggie in his gut. They also had this classic spot of Tamina falling face first into Tozawa's area, giving him a low blow. And then Reggie picks up the win with the Cetus Senton in almost like a 1-minute match. It was what it was, but I'm really glad that Dana and Tamina got to do something in Chicago, so I'll just say it was good.
Good? Not bad?
Oh, it's so good.
Did I tell you I love cereal?
Who doesn't love cereal?
I love cereal, especially when I was like a kid. And I was watching wrestling with my grandpappy. I haven't had cereal in so long.
Why?
It's difficult being a gay, single guy.
The struggle is real.
Because cereal, I did not know, but then they have like pretty high sugar and carbs, so I haven't had cereal for so long. But that's when Magic Spoon came to send us these amazing boxes. Oh my god!
It's so good. I'm not gonna lie. I've always wanted to try Magic Spoon. I feel like this was a cereal that I was eating when I was a kid. Like, I wouldn't necessarily think that it was any different, but it is because it's so much better for you.
It's 0 grams of sugar, only 4 net grams of carbs, but 13 to with 14 grams of protein on each serving.
And only 140 calories per serving.
They're also keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with 100% satisfaction guarantee, so if you don't like it for any reason, they will refund your money, no questions asked.
So click on the link below and use the code RINGTHEBELL for $5 off, or go to magicspoon.com/ringthebell to save $5 today.
NXT time. In this episode of NXT, Cora Jade goes full Home Alone. So we learned that Toxic Attraction's attack last week took out Raquel for 4 to 6 weeks, and we also learned that the spunky Cora stole all 3 belts from Toxic Attractions, and in following segments, she uses them to trap and abduct Toxic Attraction members. Again, very Home Alone trap style. For JC, she hangs up the belt up high, so JC tries to pull it down, which triggers the cage door to close down. For Gigi, she puts the title on the dumpster door and she gets in to retrieve it. Cora jams the door down with the forklift. She then goes into Mandy's car, not sure what her plan was here, but Mandy strikes back and attacks Cora Jade, sprays something on her back, and this sets up for their title match at TakeOver. Honestly, I kind of live for it. Cora's whole thing is that she's this young punk, and for a while I thought she was borderline cool and annoying. This Home Alone style tricks really work well with her character, and it's unique for her and it was super fun. And I like that the champion Mandy was able to outsmart her, so I'll say stratified. During these segments, we also briefly saw Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai backstage. Dakota's getting doubts about her chances of winning the finals, but Wendy says they can do it together. Their friendship is so cute. Wendy's like that chill friend that you can always rely on to have the most simple yet amazing advice for you. We also got 2 singles matches, both very gimmicky and storyline heavy. First was Tiffany Stratton versus Saray. So Saray is in her schoolgirl form walking out of the gorilla to do her magical girl transformation, but Tiffany jumps her from behind and snatches her magical necklace away, stopping her transformation. And I love that the commentary screamed, Saray didn't even have a chance to transform! The match was super short as Tiffany finished schoolgirl Saray in less than a minute with the beautiful corkscrew Vader bomb. I actually love this so much. I know pure athleticism why this was not it, but it adds so much flavor to Saray's character. This is like everyone's question watching magical girl genre. What if they get attacked mid-transformation? This is exactly what happens. I also love that Saray has alternate gear like Ling Xiao Yu from Tekken. Excellent character work from both women, and I can't wait to see where this goes next. Satisfied. Next is Persia Pirotta versus Indy Hartwell. Again, very character heavy match from the entrance. Both Indy and Persia walked out together with the same music. We've seen Lay Cool walk out with the same music before, but I don't think we've ever seen opponents walk out together. And them trying to one-up each other with the poses was just amazing. At the end, Dexter Lumis, who we assumed was pissed at Indy for not telling him about her past relationship with Duke, pops out from the underneath the ring to comfort Duke, who was trying to distract. This situation outside lets Indy slip out of Persia's fireman's carry and roll her up for the victory. And post-match, they start taunting each other by kissing their man harder and harder, sexier and sexier every time. What is the end game here? Live sex ceremony battle? This sounds a f***ing mess. But you know I love some messy shit. And if you're gonna go messy, go all the way messy like this segment. So I'll say I'm satisfied. Let's go to AEW Dynamite. We had highly anticipated Women's Championship match, Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa in a steel cage match, but more like a Hell in a Cell match because you could go under the ring and grab weapons and stuff like that. So Thunder Rosa came out to her hometown crowd with the explosive hometown crowd with the all-women's mariachi band playing for her. It was really epic. And Britt Baker came out with the best entrance ever, which is without Rebel and Jamie. Finally! This match, they were going for the blood. I love that Thunder Rosa was pecking into Britt's head like a woodpecker. This was both funny but also very brutal. She also grinded Britt's face on the steel. I love their use of chair because the super air raid crash to pile up chair wasn't enough for Britt Baker. She started building this fortress of chairs, which yes, did take tons of time to do it. And eventually she crashed into it, but it was so sturdy that it barely broke. I also enjoyed the referee spot. The super kick was, I don't even say this a lot, but chef's kiss. And the way he bumped bumped outside of the ring was so graceful, very much homage to Natalya's selling. And of course this is AEW, so they had to brought in thumbtacks, and I hate thumbtacks, but they made it so effective during this match. The lockjaw spot where Thunder Rosa bit one of her hands, so Britt moved on to the other hand, but Thunder just repeatedly starts smashing her hand onto the thumbtacks. Ouch, ouch, ouch. I mean, I already get ugh about thumbtacks, but this was just next level stuff. The last sequence seems super rushed. It's like they thought they had 3 minutes more left, but it was like 30 seconds. So they no-sold powerbomb to thumbtacks and chair shot outside and went straight to the finish, the Fire Thunder driver to the thumbtacks to win the title as 17-minute match. I love that the referee Aubrey was just like counting on the thumbtacks too. What a pure emotion. These are the moments we watch wrestling for. We all knew it, that she'd win here, but when it became reality, it was just so electric. Confetti came down. I don't even know why Dustin Rose came down, but it still was all amazing. I'm so happy for Thunder Rosa. Super satisfied. Now, let's take a moment to discuss Britt Baker's championship reign. Compared to Shida's reign, I think Britt really elevated the title in the women's division with her charisma, character work, great matches that she had in her reign. She made herself one of the biggest stars of AEW, and yes, I think the criticism can be made about how she wasn't really able to have any memorable storylines or elevate any of the opponents outside of Thunder Rosa, but I think we can all cut her some major slack given that they are still very much building the division, and the changes that happened during her time was just so immense. So while I was often frustrated with the stuff, I look back to her reign very fondly. So good job, Britt Baker. She also posted this video of like, I guess fans were complaining that the thumbtacks are rigged.
You guys are pissing me off saying that the thumbtacks we use are like gimmicked or fake or whatever. This is where the tacks go in the skin, and this is what happens when they slide around and slip out and slip back in. So kindly fuck off.
So much respect for Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. By the way, would you like to dress up and drink cocktails with the divas and knockouts? I know I do. It's Fashion Meets Wrestling, my dream. I've been talking to the ladies of God TV, Mickie James, Lisa, also known as WWE's Victoria, and SoCal Val, and I'll be joining them during this Mania weekend for DressleMania. It's on Saturday afternoon where WrestleCon is, and it will be a VIP cocktail reception with all your favorite divas and knockouts and more wearing dresses they're auctioning for Tag Me in honor of Daphne, the cause to break stigma and normalize conversations around mental health. So I'll be there to do my fashion police / drag race to them boot interview, and God TV will be doing a live episode there too. It's gonna be super fun, so come join me there. Celebrate WrestleMania weekend the right way. Alright, let's move to Impact Wrestling. We saw 2 matches. First was a Champ Open Challenge, but this time triple threat winner takes all match. Deonna Purrazzo versus Lady Frost versus Giselle Shaw. By the way, I love this double champ t-shirt of Deonna Purrazzo. It's really cute actually. Frost and Giselle we saw have good matches over the week, and adding Deonna into the mix just made things even more exciting. I love Deonna doing her own version of moonsault. The double submission on Giselle was really cute. Double German suplex was amazing. And I have to say, I say this every week, Lady Frost continues to stand out with how just clean and simple her moves look. It looks effortless. Ending sequence was really great with the flying neck breaker from Frost to Deonna picking up the win with the Queen's Gambit. Amazing match from all 3 of them. When Deonna eventually drops one of the belts or both belts, I'm sure it's going to be a huge moment. They are having a show in Dallas during Mania weekend, and every wrestler is going to be there that weekend, from Tori Wilson, Candice Michelle, to Ember Moon and Mia Yim, so we never know what a blockbuster moment that will be. Big question I have is, where do Frost and Giselle go from here? They were fighting like Tom and Jerry, and they both lost here. So do they become a team now and maybe come for the tag titles? I'm not really sure, but excited to see what's going on there. Satisfied. And the second match we saw was another Masha Slamovich squash match. I liked it, she looks great, and they're building her really great, but I'm ready for a storyline for her. We also see footage of Mickie James getting attacked during her country concert, which sets up a street fight match between them for the title. We then see Chelsea tell Mickie backstage that she'd come help her out, but Mickie declines as she is concerned about Chelsea's re-broken wrist. We also see Inspiration approach Caleb with the K backstage, tell him that they know that he was trying to help them out, not the Influence, when he threw in the championship belt during the championship match, which which Tenille pick up to attack Cassie to win the match. So we continue the storyline around Caleb with the K. Again, I gave up on this. I don't think the story should be about Caleb, but it is, and I accepted it. So hopefully there's some big twists, some Trish Stratus Mania 20 heel turn realness, maybe? AEW Rampage time, we see newly signed Paige Van Zandt cut a backstage promo introducing herself. The content was pretty bland. I fight well, I make money, and I'm hot. Very heel 101, I'll say, but her delivery was natural, so I'll say it's really promising. We then see a singles match between Red Velvet and Layla Hirsch, and even before the bell rings, they fight each other at the top of the ramp with the stiff-looking suplex from Red Velvet. You know I love Red Velvet and the floral way she moves in the ring. She obviously brought it here, making any match she's involved with very interesting, but she also brought a lot of intensity, like stiff-looking punches just to match Layla's fighting style, and I really respect that about Red Velvet. By the end of the match, we see Layla Hirsch go under the ring again and find her favorite weapon of all, metal turnbuckle piece, while referees check in on Red. And then Chris Statlander comes from behind Hirsch to grab turnbuckle away from her. Basically same spot from Thunder Rosa vs. Layla match, just this time with Stat. But it does not matter because Statlander looked so cool and so chic here. Layla then slides back into the ring and then gets hit by Red Velvet's beautiful corkscrew kick, where she picks up the win from Hirsch. This was a really enjoyable match between the two, so I'll say satisfied. I was wondering if this was Red's turn to have a full-out storyline with Layla Hirsch, but I'm not sure now that Statlander is already back in the picture. Will Layla find a partner to even out the number? I'm very interested to see where this goes next. Let's move to WWE SmackDown. We get a tag match between the two challengers for the Women's Tag Team Championship, Sasha Banks and Naomi, versus Liv for Brutality. This was unlike any matches we've seen where Zelina and Carmella was involved. Where those matches went decisive and quick win for the challengers, this was a long and really competitive match. And yes, these two teams are all thrown together last minute for WrestleMania. They're not real teams, but they sure are hottest stars of WWE, and they sure prove that they have that star power in this match. I particularly enjoyed some of the interactions between Sasha and Liv and Rhea, because she was so good at telling the story here. She told whatever you can do, I can do better story with Liv. She did that riling up thing where she made this random match feel like it meant something. At the end of the match, Ripley went for Riptide on Sasha, but she counters it into backstabber, tagged Naomi in, that hits a Vader bomb followed by a split-legged moonsault from Naomi. This got the "This is awesome" chant from the crowd. The crowd was so hot for this match. And as Naomi and Sasha set up for a double suplex on Rhea Ripley, Liv gets involved and making it into a Tower of Doom spot. And here, out of nowhere, randomly, Natalya and Shayna comes in to attack everyone in this match. At this point, WWE is just using this match as their new Women's Battle Royale, throwing whoever and whomever they want in this match. It's also worth noting that all the women from last year's Tag Team Turmoil match is walking into this match with different partners. So that's how random this is. Backstage, we see Natty and Shayna being all proud of their action, and Sonya approaches them to tell them how much she loved it, and they add them to the Mania match. I'm not a fan of another randomly thrown team together going into this match, but even WWE acknowledges that all these teams are all thrown together when Shayna was like,
They rather questionable decision.
She also knows how random all this shit is. But outside of the randomness of them all, this match itself was enjoyable, so I'll just say I'm satisfied. This SmackDown episode ended with Charlotte Flair Ronda Rousey segments. This was very similar from last week when Charlotte again destroys Ronda. I do think though, this panned out better than last week's segment. So this week, Charlotte starts in the ring saying that she's got the legacy way bigger than Ronda Rousey, and she enjoyed destroying her last week, and how she's ready to destroy her all over again this week too. Ronda, while knowing that this could be a trap, which WWE did set up by having Kayla tell her on the way to the ring, Ronda still marches into the ring, and here we see Charlotte had prepared a kendo stick behind the steel stairs, waiting to beat Ronda Rousey again. The two brawl, and some of these spots, like when Charlotte knocks Ronda off the apron to the floor, looks really intense. We see that Charlotte hid more weapons in her favor throughout the arena, and she takes advantage of that to put Ronda in that basically bank statement submission. Ronda refuses to tap out, so frustrated Charlotte Flair decides to just put Ronda through the table, closing the show. Like I said last week, week's segment, there was no way that Charlotte could beat Ronda in a street fight one-on-one like that. So I'm glad that they set up the fact that Charlotte is the dirtiest player in the game, and that's why she's a threat. I think the segment also did a good job emphasizing that Ronda is badass, that she won't back out of the fight, and she would rather get destroyed than to tap out. Bit of a course correction from last week, and I think it worked a lot better this week, so I'll give this segment a Stratusfied. Thank you so much for joining in for this week's review. Make sure to subscribe and turn that notification up for our pre-WrestleMania interview with WWE superstars I did backstage on Raw. And you can find me at DShin on Instagram and Ring the Bell DS on Twitter. See you next time. Bye!